Super Bowl 56 is set as the Bengals, well, they're going to play the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium on February 13th. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of Sports Illustrated's allbengals.com, and I'm recording this on Sunday night here at Arrowhead Stadium, where the Bengals defeated the Chiefs 27-24 in overtime in the AFC Championship game to advance to Super Bowl 56. Meanwhile, there's a field goal game in the NFC title game where the Rams beat the 49ers 20-17. And look, we have plenty of time to talk about this, break down matchups and everything. So this is a first look at Super Bowl 56, which we will be at, by the way. We'll be covering it, so you'll want to hit that subscribe button and make sure you stay tuned to keep it locked here, allbengals.com, the Locked On Bengals podcast. But let's dive into this matchup a little bit on the surface. The first thing is first. And it's something we talk about every week. We talked about it before the Chiefs game. We talked about it certainly before the Titans game and even the Raiders game. And there are elite edge rushers or elite pass rushers on every team, it seems like. Well, the Rams have the elitist of the elitist of the elitist. And I get it. That's not what I should say to describe it, but that's what Aaron Donald is, dude. The dude is elite. He is the top tier. He is the number one guy. And by the way, he's going to be going up against a weak interior of the Bengals offensive line, the weakness of the Bengals offensive line. So is there some concern there? Absolutely. And it's not just him. They have Von Miller. They have a plethora of edge rushers as well. So that's the first thing, right? Can the Bengals find a way to keep Joe Burrow upright? Two, maybe it is get Joe Mixon going on the ground, but they're going to have to find a way to keep Joe Burrow upright. And if so, well, then the Bengals should certainly be able to have, again, they have so many weapons that they should be able to move the ball and consistently. And, you know, the Jalen Ramsey versus Jamar Chase matchup could be wild, if assuming Jalen Ramsey's guarding him the whole time. But they have T. Higgins. They have Tyler Boyd. Obviously, Joe Mixon. And, you know, we'll see about C.J. Uzomah's injury. But point is the Bengals, they have weapons outside of Chase, even though the Jamar Chase-Jalen Ramsey matchup is juicy, 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 no doubt about it. You have this high-end, most consider the number one corner in the NFL, and then you have easily the number one rookie wide receiver who continues to make plays on plays on plays, made a huge 2-yard touchdown catch on third down against the Chiefs, where if he doesn't make it, I'm not sure if they're able to come back from that 18-point deficit to advance to the Super Bowl and win the AFC. So that's the first thing, is protecting Burrow and then the matchups on offense. But then on defense, you're really going to have to find a way to contain Cooper Kupp, right? And that dude is a freak. You want to talk about freaks of nature when it comes to the wide receiver position? He is that. He's had 13 games this season of 100 receiving yards or more. Insane. So that's the first thing. The second one is Odell Beckham Jr. He's been playing really well. They certainly have enough weapons. I know they've lost some guys. You know, Robert Woods went down. They have weapons. And certainly when you have a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. as your number two, you feel good about it. And then Cam Akers on the ground, he's pretty good. You know, he certainly has that burst. I can't believe he tore his Achilles and came back in the same season, but certainly looks the part there. And there are going to be a ton of storylines that I'm going to get to in just a second, but I just want to talk about the first look matchup-wise. The other thing that comes to mind with this team is Matthew Stafford. He throws the ball up, and he leaves it up there. He gave, and I forget the defensive back that dropped it, but literally threw a pop fly, essentially, to the one 49ers defensive back, number 3, I believe, and he fumbled it. Went right through his hands, and it was literally a pop fly. Easily could have been picked, should have been picked. I could have caught it with my eyes. You know, you could have caught it right now through the video. It was ridiculous, and he dropped it. But Matt Stafford does that, so that's something that you're going to certainly have to take advantage of if you're the Bengals defense. And then obviously you're going to want to get heat on Matt Stafford, put pressure on him. And one guy that's going to try to keep him upright is the Bengals' old friend, Andrew Whitworth, 40 years old, trying to win a Super Bowl, will be there, and he's got a shot. And the Rams are playing in their home stadium, SoFi Stadium. So second straight year. Tampa last year at Raymond James. This year, Los Angeles advances and has a chance to win it. The Bucs are the only team that have won the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Rams are trying to make it too. But that's not the only storyline. The other storyline is going to be the Sean McVay tree, right? Zach Taylor was with the Rams in 2019 when they went to or 2018, when they went to the Super Bowl, then got hired by the Bengals to be their head coach. Now it's McVay versus Taylor, and that's a whole nother storyline, a whole aspect of things that I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about as we move forward and get closer to this matchup. So a lot of exciting little storylines and things like that, but they're going to have to keep Joe Burrow upright, and that's going to be a point of emphasis, and they're going to have to do that. Not going to have to worry about crowd noise as much. It's going to be much more of a neutral site game the way Super Bowls are, even though it is, at SoFi. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as Arrowhead was or even as crazy as Nissan Stadium was. There'll be a lot of Rams fans there, no doubt. Of course, it's right there. But I think that it's going to be much more neutral than if one of these road games would be. But that's certainly an advantage for the Rams. They're comfortable in that stadium. They've been there. They're not going to feel like they're on the road preparing for the Super Bowl, which is certainly an edge. At the same time, this Bengals team, they don't get rattled. They don't get tense. They just continue to keep plugging along, and that's why they rallied from an 18-point deficit. And so to me, it would be silly to count them out now. I know the mybookie.ag odds are out, and yeah, the Rams are favored, and I get it. I get why they would be favored, and the Bengals, they're pretty good when they're underdogs. So we'll see how it matches up. But overall, if you can keep Burrow upright, you force some turnovers, or you put some heat on Matt Stafford, be all right. You want to try to keep Cooper Kupp in check, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how Lou Anarumo decides to do that. He's switched up defenses and coverages all season long. Certainly something to watch. But yeah, it's an exciting time right now to be a Bengals fan. And if you want to wager on Super Bowl 56, you got to get to mybookie.ag right now and make sure that you use promo code BengalsTalk, and they're going to double that first deposit. So if you make a $50 deposit, it's going to become $100. Boom, just like that. Again, mybookie.ag. Promo code BengalsTalk, and you're going to get a 100% welcome bonus. But I'm excited. We're going to be there. There's certainly a lot of aspects of this matchup that we'll break down. We have plenty of time to do that. And, there's going to be some X factors. There's going to be some wrinkles. But the Bengals are here. And they certainly have a shot. They certainly have a more than a puncher's chance of winning. And so we will go over it. We will break down every matchup. We will break down every nook and cranny of it right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. So hit that subscribe button and buckle up, because our goal is going to be to bring you the best coverage possible over the next 2 weeks, and that includes being there for Super Bowl 56. We'll be in the stadium. We will be there, and we will certainly bring you the best coverage possible. So for our editor, Andrew Fox-Miller, I'm James Rapien. That is your Super Bowl 56 first look right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.